This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Got a lot to get to today. College football lock, the backyard brawl, Pitt and West Virginia. Tonight's Week 2 opener, Washington and Green Bay from Lambeau Field. We'll talk about that coming up. Got a lot to get to. So right out of the gate, we have a prop. And you know what it is, Lee? It's a hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
We're going to focus on Washington running back Jacory Croskey-Merritt. They call him Bill, 7th-round pick out of Arizona. Played also at New Mexico, at Alabama State. Had a big game in his debut against the Giants. So, Lee, what do you like with him tonight against the Pack?
Wow. I laugh. Did you laugh when you heard what they call him, Bill?
I was reading about it, and I said, it's an interesting nickname to pick out. But you talk about the UFC nicknames all the time, and this one's kind of like, Bill, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. For one of the movies, you know, something. I mean, usually a guy's named Joseph, they call him Joe, but that long of a, 3 names and you call him Bill, I still laugh at it. But so I drafted this guy in the second to last round in my fantasy draft and got made fun of. Like, you're taking a backup's backup that may not even see the field. Well, played pretty well in the first game. And I think they're going to expand his workload here. Over 9.5 rushes. I mean, is minus 100 here. He got 10 carries last week. Don't think that Austin Eckler is the guy, just not close to where he was. What happens is you see these players dressed up in the uniform and they look the same, but they're just not the same. And they realize this is the guy here. So I think they lean on him in a tough conference matchup here. I think his quickness is going to be key here. And I think by the end of the year, maybe midseason, you're going to be like, God, this guy's getting 20-plus carries here. So we're going to go with Bill. Jacory Croskey-Merritt is his real name. Over 9.5 rushes. Heavy workload for him tonight. They need to run the ball. They don't want to fall behind in this game. They want to run and stay within striking distance. Or I think they could play with the lead here and might be a different game compared to what Green Bay saw last week against Detroit. They're used to playing on this surface. Remember, Detroit isn't. So we're going to go with Bill. Bill's over 9.5 rushes here. It's going to be my hidden gem.
And that's our first play of the day. Still a lot to get to here on a Thursday. Looking back at what happened yesterday, Lee, we had a 3-0 2 nights ago, slipped to 1-2 yesterday. Yordan Alvarez of the Astros, he hit the over on his basis prop against the Blue Jays. That was the lone winner. But you've got back on track with these base props in baseball.
Yeah, it's been streaky. Don't want to be that streaky, especially when it's bad. But, got that first 2 at-bats. We like that single, double, boom, it's over. Don't have to worry about it. So feel good about our props here. And 17-4 in the football prop. So starting now with football, starting going to integrate those, sometimes on Monday and Thursdays and Fridays heading into the weekend. So 17-4. I don't know anyone doing better than that or even close to that in college football and NFL player prop. So just a little hint, you want to get on that. We also offer that at ParamountSports.com.
Yeah, and also the other baseball plays, unfortunately, 2 losers, but close ones. The Red Sox, you had them against the A's. They fell behind. They tied it late, then the A's walked off. So, obviously, it was a tough one there. Red Sox were hanging around there, their final game before they head back home to take on the Yankees.
Yep, just needed one hit. Thought we had the edge with the starting pitching. We did. Had the better starting pitcher, but hitting just didn't come through. I thought they'd be able to push across some of those runs and left too many guys on base. It happens. 1-run loss. better than losing by 8 to 10 runs.
Yeah, and for me, I had the Reds in the first 5 against the Padres last night. It was 0-0, and just to give you a little sneak preview, I saw going into the bottom of the 5th what was due up for the Padres. It was the number 9 hitter. Then it was Fernando Tatis at the top of the lineup, and they got the first out, and I'm thinking, all right, just get this guy out. And on the MLB app, I like to sometimes watch it through there. I know it's kind of old as far as like watching just like strike, ball. And there are certain color codes as far as what happens. Purple, it's an out. If it's blue, it's a base hit. So with Tatis, when he was up, I saw the blue with no one on. I'm like, oh, he hit a home run. And of course, he went deep off Andrew Abbott. Padres led 1-0 through 5. And eventually they lost the game 2-1. So we talk about that. You take the first 5, then Cincinnati came back and beat them. But still, that's a tough one to get. The only thing I'll pat myself on the back on, I was right as far as the Padres struggling against left-handed pitchers in the first 5. They had scored 3 runs, I believe, in the past 8 games in the first 5 against left-handed starters. They got the 1. Unfortunately, the Reds couldn't get 1 themselves.
Frustrating. I mean, there's so many different things, going on. Remember baseball, the difference between a foul ball and a home run is like that, just that small. So just wasn't your day. We had 2 very close losses.
Yeah, so we move on now, and we got a lot of football still to get to. Pittsburgh and West Virginia, the backyard brawl, the NFL game we've already hit on a prop. We'll have a play on Washington and Green Bay, and we'll talk more about that coming up. I want to mention this quickly, Lee, before we get to these other games. What's so funny, just kind of a random thought. Do you realize now that, we talk about like the work week in America, that, 5 days, maybe get it down to 4, where now the football work week is 5 nights, that you have 2 days off, Tuesday and Wednesday. You're back. Now we start again Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night. You got games every single night now, 5 nights a week. That's before you get to action in November.
It's amazing. Marriages are the divorce rate isn't higher. So, I mean, I love it. It's great. Thank God my wife sits and watches a lot of games with me. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble. But yeah, this is football. Once we start in late August, all the way through, the regular season used to be the regular season ended in early to mid-December back in the day. Now, we've gone from 14 regular season games to 17. We could have 18 next year. So, if you like football, except for Tuesday and Wednesday night, I know I've also some single friends, and they're so into football. They're into betting. They're into fantasy. They only meet girls on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. So interesting how we shuffle our schedules around once football finally is here.
Yeah, and tonight a couple college games as well. You have NC State and Wake Forest, and then tomorrow a couple Pac-12 games. We'll hit on one of them coming up with K-State and Arizona to see if it's the battle of the Wildcats. We'll see if K-State can bounce back after losing to Army last week. Also, we're going to look at UFC in San Antonio coming up on Saturday. All of that is straight ahead. You are listening to the Thursday edition here of Locked On Bets. Let's talk about now FanDuel, our friends at FanDuel. And yep, NFL season is here, and week 2 begins tonight. The Commanders and the Packers in Green Bay. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what can you bet on? A lot of things. For the NFL, for instance, you have Commanders Packers tonight. So you have the side, you have the total, you have the money line, you have the player props. You can bet on Jaden Daniels on the Commander side, Jordan Love on the Packers side, any of the running backs, the receivers, all of that. That's just talking about tonight. Now, if you look at Sunday's action, how loaded it is at all the games. And then on Monday night, there's a doubleheader, Bucks Texans followed by Chargers Raiders. So there's so many games, player props that you could bet on, or if you just want to skip the game and look ahead to the awards, you can do that. You also bet on the games and the awards, whatever it is, your choice. But MVP, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, they are the favorites right now at FanDuel. You could bet on Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. All of those choices now. Oh, by the way, the Super Bowl as well. If you want to get in, maybe get some good odds right now on a Super Bowl winner you like after week 1. All of that at FanDuel. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. We roll on here. It is Locked On Bets on a Thursday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. Still got plenty to get to. We'll get to Noche UFC in San Antonio in just a few moments. But first, let's look at our blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
It's the Wildcats and the Wildcats coming up on Friday night in Tucson. Big 12 matchup. And Lee, I am going to take as my blowout special the Kansas State Wildcats on the road, laying 1. All right. So far for them, they're 1-2. And they went out to Dublin, lost that game to Iowa State in the rain. They came back to win in week 2 at home, a game they should have lost. They fall apart at the end against Army last week. So 3 games decided by 3 points. You could argue they could be 3-0, they could be 0-3, any which way they're 1-2. But here's the key, and this is what I like. You're coming off 2 games you didn't cover as very heavy favorites. Now you're in a way more manageable spot, laying a point, basically almost a pick 'em, against Arizona. Now, they did beat Arizona last year at home 31-7. So that is one thing where they have confidence against this Arizona team. I keep saying Arizona. I can't say the Wildcats. Both teams are the Wildcats. So Arizona, 2-8 last year in the Big 12. That's not good at all. And I just don't have faith in the Wildcats. They have 2 wins against 2 teams that they should have beat by a lot, which they did. They haven't really been tested yet. So we're going to go with K-State. I think this is the get-right game for them on the road in Tucson. So let's go with the K-State Wildcats, Lee, on Friday night as our blowout special.
Love it, Kevin. Got to say it a little more.
Blowout special.
There we go. That's better.
I'm only good at the hidden gem. You do it. I'm only good at the hidden gem.
Blowout special. So
you've had more time with that.
All right. I had to yell at more kids. You have 1, I got 2, so I'm used to that. But I love that game. And hint, hint, I'm going to be releasing that to my clients tomorrow. This Kansas State team had to face an Army team who runs a triple option. And Army just wore them out. I mean, 3rd down and 4th down conversions, they were like money. That was the difference. And I think they held the ball for, like over 3/4 of the game. I think it was one of the biggest time differentials. So offense should be fresh and ready to go. Defense doesn't have to play the triple option. I don't think Arizona's very good. So they like saying Arizona bear down. Bears, they're not going to be bearing on anything here. I like Kansas State also.
All right, so we'll see how that one turns out coming up Friday. A couple Pac-12 games, in fact. You have also Colorado-Houston, or Big 12 games, excuse me. Colorado-Houston also coming up on Friday, so Big 12 will be showcased coming up tomorrow night. Meanwhile, on Saturday, Noche UFC in San Antonio, Texas, the arena where the Spurs play. We will have a nice card there. So let's look now at the wrong fighter favored.
What the
WTF.
Sorry, I went with a video for wrong fighter favorites. We're going to go with wrong team favored here. All right, Lee, what do you like? You've been hot in the UFC, Noche UFC in San Antonio on Saturday.
All right, so Alex, the Great Ape Hernandez, who's 32, is going to fight Diego Ferreira, who's 40. And Hernandez is a -130 favorite. The take back on Ferreira is +110. So if you watched Alex Hernandez's last fight, looked great. Fought Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper's, I don't know, like 6'3", 6'4", string bean. I think he's now 24 years old, has no power at all. And Hernandez knocked him out in the end of the first round. And you're thinking, okay, this guy's starting to elevate his game. But let's look at who he's fought. Before Chase Hooper, who's a nothing, he's actually the best of the last 3 fighters he's fought. Fought Kurt Holleball, who's already been cut by the UFC once and about to get cut twice. Maybe he has been cut twice. Austin, he calls himself Thud Hubbard. I call him Austin Mother Hubbard, who is a jag at best, and I'm being kind. On the other hand, Diego Ferreira, listen to some of these guys he's fought. Champion Dustin Poirier, Anthony Pettis, Matisse Gamrot, Beniel Dariush twice. So even in some of these losses, he's fared well. His last fight, he fought, he lost to Grant Dawson in a decision. But Grant Dawson is the top 10, top 15 fighter. Just fought better fighters throughout his career. I know he's 40, but actually, I don't think age is a factor. He's in that good a shape here. He put Michael Johnson to sleep in the last year and a half, second round KO. So I think that also what factors into this fight, Hernandez fought August 16th. You have a 3-week turnaround. That's not good for a fighter. Losing all that weight, you fight, you bulk up for the fight, you eat like crazy, you gain 15, 18 pounds, and then you got to lose it again literally a couple days after that. Not good for the body here, not good for the psyche. There's a reason why fighters usually fight at the earliest every 3 to 4 months here. We're going to take Diego Ferreira, and we're going to say he is the wrong fighter favored here, plus 110. I think he's going to put Alex, I call him the Great Ape, to sleep here. Second or third round KO, if not by decision. So wrong fighter favored. Diego Ferreira gets the job done over Alex Hernandez.
Yeah, it'll be a busy Saturday with all the college football. Now you have the UFC as well to keep an eye on. So we will be watching that also. Coming up, we do have a couple of locks for college football and the NFL. We have an NFL game tonight, Washington and Green Bay. But first, we have a college game, the Backyard Brawl, Pitt and West Virginia. We will go with that coming up. You are listening to Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And Saturday afternoon in Morgantown, Pittsburgh and West Virginia. They lock horns. Pitt beat them last year by 4, so we'll see how the Mountaineers respond. West Virginia lost to Ohio last week, so that's no good. So let's see what Rich Rod's got going, Lee, for our first lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it! Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Not crowned Pittsburgh either. They beat Duquesne and Central Michigan so far, so they really haven't been tested. But, Lee, what do you like here? The Backyard Brawl with the Panthers and the Mountaineers.
So one of these two teams is the answer to my trivia question yesterday, which was the team that lost their starting running back and their backup running back. And who was it? West Virginia. They lost their star running back. This kid White is really good, probably outside of a transfer receiver. They got the only weapon that they had. So he gets hurt at the end of the first half on a combination, a hip drop tackle. I'm not sure exactly, kind of a weird angle, but he's done for the year. They had already lost Jalen Knighton, who was originally from Miami, transferred to SMU. He was slated to be the backup. They're going to have to go with a third-string running back, and the kid that they got in is a walk-on. And as soon as you watch him, you're thinking walk on. Kid is just not a player. Turnover, West Virginia. You hear about some teams like North Carolina having 70 new players. West Virginia, I saw a figure they had 82 new players. Now, with walk-ons and everything, you might have 105, 110 guys, but 82 out of over 100 players new, that's a real problem. I thought that Rich Rodriguez, when he took this job, the number one thing he needed to do was take a quarterback, find a quarterback in the portal. And there was a bunch of good ones. Might have had to pony up $2-3 million, but he didn't do it. He went with the backup who had been there for 3 years, not the guy. They even took a transfer from Texas A&M. I think it was like, I don't remember. Maybe it was the 4th-string, maybe at best 3rd-string quarterback last year. Put him in for a couple series when they were playing Ohio last week. That lasted, I think, 2 series and didn't work. Pop in the tape. Watch this West Virginia team. They are not good at all. They lost by a touchdown last week to Ohio. Probably should have been worse. Pitt is way under the radar. They are talented. Eli Holstein, the quarterback, is very good. I think he's an NFL quarterback. Reminds me a little bit of Carson Beck, tall, but maybe even a better runner when he needs to be. He only runs out of not just to take off out of necessity, but he's good at it, but makes good decisions, very accurate, tall, originally started his career at Alabama, senior now. He's going to go in the draft, probably third, fourth round. So this Pitt team is good. Don't underestimate them. I don't know if West Virginia is going to win another game rest of the year. This line is sitting at 6.5, 7, might go up, so get on it now. We're going to go with a level 1 lock, Pitt here over West Virginia in the backyard brawl.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh again. This will be, I'm not gonna call it the signature win, but at least now the first really name opponent that they're playing, and before they get ACC play started, this will be a good start for them. And yeah, for Rich Rod, he doesn't have the talent he used to have. They're 80-something play. That's just that's like an expansion team. That's almost what it feels like with West Virginia when you have that many players. All right, let's now flip to the NFL. Week 2 kicks off tonight at Lambeau Field. The Packers and the Commanders, both teams off home division wins last week. So, lock of the day, number 2.
Open it, open it, open it! Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Both the Packers and Commanders, impressive wins at home last week, and now a quick turnaround here at Lambeau tonight. Commanders, Packers, Lee, what do you like?
For some reason, Detroit, the Lions, they just don't usually play well on grass. But the Washington Commanders, that's their normal playing surface here. Last week against the Giants, they dominated them. In fact, had 2.9 more yards per play. So this is a team that's really impressive. And we're watching the connection now between their star quarterback and Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel is a huge addition, 7 catches for 77 yards, plus a 19-yard touchdown run. So I think that this team is more explosive. The only team that's beaten them in a long, long time since Thanksgiving of last year, Philadelphia. Philadelphia played bully ball. That's not Green Bay's style of play. Green Bay, they caught Detroit last week at the right time, right surface at home. The excitement, they're getting they made one of the best trades probably in the last decade here. We're going to go with a level 2 lock. Washington Commanders plus to 3 to 3.5 at home against the Green Bay Packers.
I do like that. I do. I think that this is a good spot for Washington. And the Packers, they just played out of their minds, and they were great. There's nothing you could take away from them. But with Detroit losing their coordinators, everything, it just seemed like a perfect storm for the Packers last week. And now, even though they're still at home, we'll see how that one unfolds tonight. All right, so Paramount Sports, Lee, we talk about it all the time. Big weekend coming up, and it begins tonight with college and NFL.
It does. So really excited. How about this? We had a 40-unit max wager last week. We hit that. We're now a documented 72-28 on our 40 to 50-unit max wagers. I've got a 50-unit, I'm going to call it my max bomb. This will be the biggest play we've had all season. It's going on Saturday. You want to get involved with that? Just go to ParamountSports.com. September to remember, 3 weeks. Use coupon code SAVE100, just $297. Also, UFC. 7 selections, including a 40-unit selection there. We're 20 and 10 on our 40 to 50-unit selections since the start of 2024. 7 selections there. $35. We've won 12 of the last 15 cards. That starts at 3 o'clock Eastern time. So, it's not one of these later starts coming from San Antonio. So UFC got that card, 7 selections, just $35, including the 40-unit max wager there. Football, like I said, got the 50-unit biggest play of the year going in college football. And also player props for 17-4 combined college football and the NFL. $597 for the season. ParamountSports.com.
And we also don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Bets. We appreciate you tuning in there and also with the podcast as well. And we'll be back with you coming up on Friday for another edition of Locked On Bets. See, Lee is always working and never stops with him. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers, and we will talk to you again on Friday right here on Locked On Bets on the Locked On Podcast Network.